শুভ সকাল সবাইকে আমন্ত্রণ জানাচ্ছি মেরিল মিল্ক সোপ বার রাঙা সকাল অনুষ্ঠানে। আজকে দিনটি সবার ভালো কাটুক এই শুভকামনা জানি রাঙা সকালের আজকের আয়োজন শুরু করছি। বরাবরের মতো আমি সঙ্গে আছি লাবণ্য
এবং সেই সাথে রয়েছে আমি রহমান। দর্শক শুভ সকাল। লাবণ্য তোমাকে
শুভ সকাল।
কেমন আছো?
আমি ভালো আছি, তুমি কেমন আছো?
আমি তো বেশ ভালো আছি। তোমাকে তো শুভেচ্ছা জানিয়েছি, তবে সেই সাথে আমি একটু দর্শকদেরও শুভেচ্ছা জানাতে চাই। দর্শক, আপনারা মাছরাঙা টেলিভিশনের একদম প্রথম দিন থেকে আমাদের সাথে আছেন এবং রাঙা সকাল অনুষ্ঠানের সাথে আছেন এবং দেখুন আপনাদের এই ভালোবাসা আমাদের কাছে কি নিয়ে এসেছে। আমি লাবণ্যর পেছনে দেখতে পাচ্ছি আমাদের মাঝে ইউটিউব আমাদেরকে একটি প্লেট পাঠিয়েছে এবং সেটি হচ্ছে রাঙা সকালের যে মাছরাঙার ইউটিউব চ্যানেল, সেটি 1 লাখ সাবস্ক্রাইবারের সীমানা ছাড়িয়ে এখন 1,16,000 সাবস্ক্রাইবার হয়েছে এবং সেটির জন্য আমরা পেয়েছি একটি সিলভার বাটন। এবং আপনারা আমাদের সাথে থাকলে নিশ্চয়ই আমাদের এই যাত্রাটা আরও সুন্দর হবে এবং আমরা আরও অনেক সাফল্যে উজ্জীবিত হব সামনের দিনগুলোতে। দর্শক, আপনাদের জানিয়ে রাখি আজকের এই বিশেষ দিনে একটি বিশেষ পর্ব আপনাদের সামনে নিয়ে এসেছি। আমরা জানি যে মানুষ মানুষের জন্য, জীবন জীবনের জন্য, তবে সারা বিশ্বে মানুষের জন্য, মানুষের পাশে থাকার জন্য কিছু মানুষ আছেন যারা আমাদেরকে প্রতিনিয়ত অনুপ্রেরণা দেন। এমন একজনের কথা এতদিন শুনে এসেছি, আমরা গুগলে পড়েছি, বিভিন্ন জার্নালে পড়েছি। আজকে আমাদের সৌভাগ্য হয়েছে তার সাথে আমরা কথা বলবো। তিনি হচ্ছেন একজন ব্রিটিশ সাইক্লিস্ট, লিউক গ্রেনফেল শো, যিনি ক্যান্সারের বাধাকে উপেক্ষা করে মানুষের পাশে দাঁড়িয়েছেন এবং নিজের স্বপ্ন পূরণ করে যাচ্ছেন। চলুন আমরা তাকে স্বাগত জানাই। গুড মর্নিং।
গুড মর্নিং।
Shubho Shokal.
Shubho Shakal.
Thank you for having me here.
So, you have already learned Bangla.
I've learned a small bit.
Okay. So, we start every morning at Maasranga Television with this show. The show is all about the people who has made strong impact in our lives, in our society, our country. And we feel extremely privileged having you in our show.
Dhanbad. Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Okay. May we start our conversation from the beginning, your childhood or your family?
Yeah, I was very fortunate to grow up in a loving family. I had, 2 great parents. I had a brother, John, who was 18 months older than me. And I grew up in this city in the southwest of the United Kingdom called Bristol.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place. There are parks, there's a lovely river. There's a lot of cool cafes and bars, but like 5-year-old Luke wasn't very interested in the music and the art scene in Bristol.
Yeah.
And, I remember from my childhood that I wasn't that sporty.
Okay.
And my parents liked to take us on cycling holidays. And I remember always protesting a huge amount and saying, when can we stop? And my parents basically bribed me with ice cream.
Okay.
And so they would persuade John and I to keep on cycling because they would say, just 15 more minutes and then you can have a biscuit or then we're stopping for some food. So I was quite a reluctant cyclist as I was growing up.
What were your hobbies in that time? You didn't like cycling, you didn't like sports. So what did you like?
So I enjoyed reading.
Okay.
That was definitely a hobby of mine. And there was a game called Warhammer, which are these like little models that you kind of fight. You have little battles and you use dice and rulers. And so my brother and I would play this game and it would get very, very competitive because we really wanted to win. And then so sometimes when it got too competitive, we would just sort of start like throwing the pieces off the table.
Okay.
And Lego, that was the other thing. So building towers and building spaceships out of Lego. So that was a big part of my childhood.
Now we want to know your family. What was the environment?
So my mum is a doctor.
Okay.
My dad worked in the Navy. And so there's a joke in my family that because my dad was away for 3 months at a time, he always managed to miss my birthdays.
Okay.
Which was a joke between him and my mum, but it was very loving, very supportive, and I think I'm very lucky that my parents always made sure, and I always felt that they loved me for who I was, and that love would always be there, kind of no matter what I did, and I think that gives you just such a wonderful foundation for living
Do you
life.
have brothers and sisters also?
Yes, so I had one brother
Okay.
called
Christopher John.
John Christopher
Okay.
Grenfell, sure.
So actually, parents are same at whole world. In our country, also same. Our parents love us unconditionally, like
Yes.
you. And you were telling about your birthday, and as I remember, your birthday was at last 11th March, right?
Exactly.
Okay, and you have celebrated your this birthday at Bangladesh.
Indeed, yes. It was a very memorable birthday.
Tell me about those days.
So the day before my birthday, on the 10th of March, I was in Gopalganj, and I was like,
Gopalganj.
Gopalganj.
Okay.
Gopalganj.
That's great. Yeah.
and I was cycling with two very lovely Bangladeshis, Tanvir and Nada. And that day we were only going to cycle about 80k to Sharitpur. And then Nada, my friend, told me, look, there's this half marathon that is happening in Dhaka tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Okay.
And it starts at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Now, I've changed quite a bit since I was 5 years old when I didn't like exercise. Because now I thought, oh, there's a half marathon happening. That sounds like the perfect way to celebrate my birthday.
Yes.
I'm going to meet people, and it's going to be a perfect way to see Dhaka for the first time. But there was one problem, and that is that to get to Dhaka, we had to cycle 175 kilometers
Oh my God.
in one day.
Okay. This is
And
very hectic.
Very
right?
hectic. And Nada only told me this half marathon was happening at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, our plans changed.
Okay.
And instead of cycling only 40 more kilometers, we cycled another 120 kilometers.
Okay.
So we got to the ferry, and at about like 9 o'clock in the evening, and it was dark, and then we crossed over the Padma River, is that
Yes,
right?
right.
Yeah.
And then we saw another 50 kilometers, and we were cycling through Dhaka at about midnight, and there were the lorries, there were the cars, there were the motorbikes. And I was so happy when we finally sort of stopped for the night.
Okay.
And then in 3 hours, I had to get up again, and we did this half marathon. But I tell you what, it was the most beautiful thing, because I saw Dhaka as the sun was rising. There were so many wonderful, friendly people. Everyone wanted to say hi. Everyone was so supportive. And so for me, it was the perfect way of seeing Dhaka and celebrating my birthday with a whole
Okay.
group of wonderful people.
So you had spent the whole day so beautifully.
We will discuss few things about your journey, your mission, your dream. But before that, we have to share a few things about you with our audience.
Sure.
Labonno, please.
Sure. ব্রিটিশ তরুণ লিও গ্রেনফেল শো আজ আমাদের সঙ্গে আছেন। ক্যান্সারের শেষ পর্যায়ে থেকে আংশিক সুস্থ হওয়া লিওক বাইসাইকেলে করে ব্রিস্টল থেকে বেইজিং সফরের উদ্যোগ নিয়েছেন। তার এমন উদ্যোগের মূল লক্ষ্য বিশ্বের ক্যান্সার আক্রান্তদের জন্য কিছু করে যাওয়া। 2018 সালে মাত্র 24 বছর বয়সে মরণব্যাধি ক্যান্সার শনাক্ত হয় তার। তবে স্টেজ 4-এ থাকা ক্যান্সার খুব একটা কাবু করতে পারেনি তাকে। কেমোথেরাপি শুরু করার 2 মাস পরে তিনি গ্রেট ব্রিস্টল হাফ ম্যারাথন দৌড়েছিলেন। 2021-এ জিতেছেন ইডেন ম্যারাথন। আর এখন ক্রিশ নামের গোলাপি নীল ট্যান্ডেম সাইকেলটি নিয়ে ঘুরে বেড়াচ্ছেন বিশ্বের নানা প্রান্ত। ইতিমধ্যেই তিনি অতিক্রম করেছেন বিশ্বের 28টি দেশের 20,000 কিলোমিটার পথ। বাইসাইকেলে করে বিশ্ব ভ্রমণে বের হওয়া ইংলিশ নাগরিক লিও গ্রেনফেল এখন বাংলাদেশে। তার গল্পে আমরা আবারও ফিরে যাচ্ছি।
Labonno, before we move on, I have to share with our audience about your Lungi Experience.
Yes.
So,
I love lungis.
Okay, really?
Yeah, I think they're fantastic. I love the freedom, the airiness, and yeah, they make perfect sense in Bangladesh. Whether I'd want to wear it in winter in the United Kingdom, I might get a bit cold, but here I think they're very, very comfortable.
We really appreciate when you come at our TV station. You voluntarily want to wear this lungi, and we are very happy.
You told me I should be wearing trousers, and I was like, no, I want the lungi. I love the lungi.
And
so
it looks cool.
I mean, what can I say? It's great. It's fantastic.
Okay. So tell me about your childhood dream. in future, what we were aspired to be?
So my first dream, or what I wanted to be as an adult, was actually a vet. So I wanted to look after animals. I had a lot of pets. I had cats and gerbils and hamsters. And then I wanted to have a little farm in my sort of suburban garden. So I had chickens and ducks. But as I was about sort of 16 or 17, I realized I didn't want my next 30 or 40 years to be planned out. And I wanted more choice and more uncertainty. So that took me down a path of doing biology, beginning to do some traveling. But at that point in my mind, I also had this dream that I wanted to cycle around the world. But I thought it should be later, you know, after I'd graduated from university, after I'd got a good job, after I'd bought a house, after I'd had a family.
Okay.
So I thought, well, that would just happen later, but it was there inside of me. And I think we've all got these dreams like that we have, and we think, oh, I'll
Okay.
have that dream later. But you know it's in your heart.
Let's talk about your cancer when you were diagnosed. I heard 4 years ago, right?
Right. So
Okay.
I was working out in Russia,
Okay.
and I was 24
Was it in
years old.
Siberia? Russia, Siberia?
Exactly, in Siberia.
Okay.
This city called Tyumen actually has about 700,000 people living there, but no one has ever heard of it. And I was in many ways living like a great life. I had a good group of friends, I had a good job, and I was learning a lot of Russian. But at this time I had kind of one small problem, and I had like this ache in my left shoulder.
Okay.
And I remember I did this 50-kilometer race through the Ural Mountains, and I was really fit and really strong, but I just remember having this ache in my shoulder in that race and thinking, what is it?
Oh.
But I ignored it for a couple of months
Yeah.
because I thought, well, it's probably
very
it's
normal,
going to go
isn't it?
away, isn't
Yeah.
it? We all have aches. And eventually I went to see the doctor, and I asked them, oh, I think I've got this problem, what is it? And they said, okay, let's look at your shoulder. And I turned round, and she said, Боже мой. And that means, oh my God. And that was the first time I realized anything was wrong. But then I realized something was really very, very wrong. And I went back to the United Kingdom. I had a load of tests done. And then on the 19th of June 2018, the doctors told me, Luke, you have cancer.
Okay.
Okay.
You were only 24 then.
I was 24 years old. I had guessed by that point that it was cancer. But what completely blew me away was they said, Luke, the tumour has spread to your lungs. It's very rare. It's very aggressive. It's very advanced. And we kind of think you won't see the end of the year. So I went from being fit and young and living all my dreams to then being told this is all going to end.
What was your first thought then when you heard
How
from
did
doctor?
you feel in that time?
It was devastating. When we live our lives, we have a set of expectations and things that we feel that we have a right to.
Yeah.
And it felt that every expectation I had of my life had like disintegrated and crumbled away. So the expectation that I would climb the career ladder, have a good job, the expectation that I'd have a family, the expectation that I'd meet the woman of my dreams, like all
Of
of this
course,
just felt like it
naturally.
got taken away. And you know what? I went home and I cried into the sofa.
Oh.
But my dad saw me there in the sofa and he said, Luke, I think you're going to feel better if we go outside and we go for a run. We do some physical activity together. And on that run, he gave me some advice that I'll never forget. And he said, Luke, if you've only got 3 or 4 months left to live, as a father, that is like the worst thing I can think of.
Yeah.
But there's nothing I can do
Supported
about
me a
it.
lot.
But he said, okay, you might only have 3 or 4 months left to live, but you do have a choice over how you spend that time. And I realized that actually I can't control whether I have cancer, but I can control how I live with cancer.
Of course.
Okay.
And that's the attitude I've tried to take forward from that point.
Okay, this is very inspirational. Once I heard from an author that you understand how strength you have until you have only choice, that is your strength, and that is your strong power, and that is your willpower. We are very much motivating by your words, actually. And Labonno has just mentioned that your cycle's name is Krish, and this is your brother's name, right? John Christopher. And during your hospital days, you had another shocking news that
Yeah.
your brother.
The first time I went into hospital for chemotherapy,
Yeah.
I was there for 4 days. And on the final morning, my mum, who was in the room with me, she gets a phone call. And she's told, your son John, he was running in the hills and he slipped. And he fell. And he died. So John was 25 years old.
Okay.
And out of the blue, he passed away. Anyone would have thought that it would be John talking to you today to share the news about his brother Luke, who had died from cancer. But life is unpredictable and none of us know how long we have. And look, I hope to do this cycle ride with John. And my brother's second name, John Christopher. The name of my bike is Chris.
Chris.
I hope to share this ride with John, but as it is, I now try and share John's story with the world.
With the world, with 29th country right now. And you
29
have one,
countries.
only one country is left,
Left.
right?
That's
Okay.
right, yes.
And you have target to 3,000 kilometer bicycle ride, right?
30,000 kilometers.
So when you will start this journey?
I started this journey on the 1st of January 2020.
20.
Okay.
Okay.
So possibly the worst year in the last 100 years to try and cycle
Yeah.
across the world. And of course, it's been very, very difficult because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So
So
after
what
that,
were your plans in last year?
at the very onset, what were your plan?
So my plan was to cycle from Bristol to Beijing to raise £300,000 for some amazing cancer charities. And I thought the journey would take me 1 year.
Okay.
I've now been on the road for over 2 years.
Yes.
I'm so happy to be here in Bangladesh. It's amazing what I've achieved with the help of so many wonderful people. It's been a very unique experience.
Tell me your experience at Bangladesh.
My experience in Bangladesh has been very, very lovely and wonderful. I think one of the things that is very striking about Bangladesh is how much people smile.
Yeah, big smile.
Big smiles
Yeah.
from everyone all the time. It's like an automatic reaction that they see you and they just beam and their faces light up. And I think that is such a wonderful, wonderful thing. I think another wonderful thing about Bangladeshi culture is how strong your families are and your networks of friends, that you're very, very, very close. And you don't have these walls between you and your family and your friends. You come and go. And that's quite different to how things are in the UK and in Western Europe, because if I want to see a friend,
Yeah.
I will message them and say, should we meet up at this time in 3 days? Whereas here, you just turn up.
Yes.
Yes.
And so it's been super interesting, and I think I've already learnt a lot, but I think everyone's got a lot to learn from how people live in other countries, and that's one of the exciting things about this trip.
Thank you on behalf of Bangladesh. Actually, feelings are mutual and love is, we know that reciprocal. You give love, you enlighten us, and we give you big smile.
Exactly.
Okay. Have you already eaten Bangladeshi food?
Yes, absolutely. I was very lucky to be cycling from Benapole to Dhaka with this wonderful guy called Tanvir. He's from Gopalganj. He lives in Dhaka,
Okay.
and he's my friend. He was my guide at the same time, and when we stopped, we would just stop at a local cafe, and we'd have our big plate of rice, and there'd be the fish or the chicken, and some dal. And he showed me the proper technique to eat with your hands and then
yes.
sort of push it up with your thumb. And I love it. And one of the things that I've noticed is there's a very strong connection with your food here in
Yeah.
Bangladesh.
Have you experienced junk food?
Huh?
Junk food, shingara.
Samosa.
Yeah. I love shingara.
Oh,
Shingara,
wow.
they're like my favorite riding food as like a snack when I'm
Okay.
on the bike. I'll just...
So your stomach is okay.
I've got a tough stomach now.
Okay.
It's been through India. It's been through Pakistan. It's an iron stomach now.
Okay. Tell me more about your journey at bicycle. From 1st January 2020, you started the journey from?
From Bristol.
Okay.
That's where I grew up. It's
Yeah.
where I had chemotherapy, and that seemed to be the natural place to start this ride.
Okay.
So I cycled for 3 months till the end of March, literally like 1 year ago, when I was in Germany. And I was stopped by the side of the road. I was making some coffee.
Okay.
And then this woman shouts from her window and she says, "Look, you can't be outside." And I say, "Why not?" And she says, "There's a curfew. There's this coronavirus. Like, the police will stop and arrest you." I was like, what's happening? I'd been in my own world, I'd been cycling, and all of a sudden, I realized I couldn't keep this journey going. So I had to return to the UK. I spent 5 months back in Bristol.
Okay.
Now I just want to know, you are motivating others. In that time and now, how did you motivate yourself?
What's really important for me now on this journey from Bristol to Beijing is to show what is possible with cancer. Because many people think that cancer means you're going to die. That's what I thought.
And you can do anything.
Yeah, now I'm trying to show that you can live your dreams, you can live a rich and fulfilling life, you can be active even with cancer. I'm doing this journey on a 2-person bike, so it's a tandem bicycle. And in India, I cycled with this amazing guy called Dev Mukherjee. And we cycled together from Chandigarh to Varanasi, so 1,000 kilometers together. Now, what made Dev very special was, well, firstly, he did it in jeans and a jumper. He hadn't been cycling for 2 years, and he said, "Yeah, I'll come." And I looked at him for the first time, jeans and a jumper, and I thought, this guy, he isn't going to last more than 2 hours. But he did 1,000 kilometers.
Oh.
But Dev was diagnosed with cancer when he was a little boy.
Okay.
The doctors thought he was going to die.
Okay.
Dev is now 17 years old,
Okay.
and he is showing what is possible with cancer. And that is what excites me and motivates me, is to show that, look, it's not just me doing this journey with a cancer diagnosis. Look at everyone else. I was joined by a wonderful woman called Kate
Okay.
in Kazakhstan, in Uzbekistan. She was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer as well. And she cycled with me between the capitals of Tashkent and Bishkek. There are people doing amazing things, and there's a lot of stigma
Yeah.
that's attached to cancer,
Yeah.
particularly I think in India, I think in Bangladesh, in parts of Central Asia. And what I'm hoping to do is say, look, there's a chance that your life goes on. There are things that you
Of
can do
course.
to help yourself and to give people hope.
Thank you for that. Actually, cancer doesn't affect only patient, but also family, be it parents or brothers, siblings, or co-workers, whatever. So, what were your family's reaction when you wanted to start this bicycle journey?
I know that in Bangladesh, families love to keep their children very close,
Close.
to
Yes.
look
Yeah.
after them, to keep them safe and protected. And I think that has so many wonderful advantages. I'm very grateful that my parents saw that I wanted to do this amazing cycle ride to live my dream, and they knew that if they kept me in Bristol, then I wouldn't be very happy.
Okay.
And they knew that I would be happier if I was cycling across the world living my dream. And so as difficult as it was for them, as soon as I got well for me to start this cycle ride, they wanted to support me in my dreams, and I think that's very, very special.
Of course. Were you English teacher at that time at Siberia 4 years ago?
Yeah, so I was teaching English in Siberia when I was diagnosed with cancer.
Okay. In our country, cancer treatment is a little bit expensive. So what's about in your country?
Yes, so I was treated in the United Kingdom. There, you pay for treatment through your taxes. So the NHS, the National Health System, National Health Service, that's free at the point of use. So it's like, I guess, the government hospitals here, except that the facilities on offer are very, very high. And so you can get really cutting edge treatment through that government health service. So you pay a lot in your taxes, but when it comes to it, I didn't actually have to pay anything for my treatment myself at that point. But I know that here, you know, chemotherapy is very expensive. In a place like Bangladesh, for a lot of people, wages are not that much, and treatment that costs, you know, $100 each time, that's almost unaffordable. So the charity that we're supporting here in Bangladesh, it's called World Child Cancer. It has projects in the Dhaka Medical College. It's got projects in other hospitals in Chittagong, and they support families financially, transport, accommodation, and then also, you know, early warning signs of cancer, trying to let people know what the symptoms are, and trying to reach into rural areas as well.
Yeah.
And say, look, you know, your child might have cancer, but that doesn't mean they're going to die. Like, cancer in children is curable.
Of course.
Okay.
So look, you have to target at 300,000 pound for cancer survivor charity. So how much you have already collect?
We've already raised £110,000.
Oh, great.
Which is amazing, because this has all come from individuals giving money that they have worked very hard to earn.
In 2 years.
In 2 years.
Okay.
So we've still got a long way to go. There's still a lot more money to raise, but it gives me a lot of confidence that we've raised this much money so far. And,
Okay.
you know, this is so important because it makes such a huge difference in the lives of people with cancer.
So you have you got support from media from all over the world, and I have already seen you got excellent press coverage, and you have already interviewed by BBC Network, BBC Radio, BBC News, and you have agreement on ITV.
That's
Am I
right, yes.
ITV. Good Morning London, or something like this.
Yes.
So tell me more about this.
So what I'm going to be really excited to do when I reach Beijing, which is
Okay.
the destination, is to celebrate and to share this achievement with the world. And one of the big reasons is that this has been a team effort.
Okay.
So many people, thousands of people have helped me do this. People like yourselves, like, you know, Maasranga Television, people who have helped me get visas. So the government here in Bangladesh,
Yeah.
they let me cross the border from at Benapole.
Okay.
That's quite unusual at this time.
Yeah.
So many people have helped me on this journey. So as much as anything, I want an opportunity to say thank you. And then also, look, when I was diagnosed with cancer, I was on Google every day to try and find someone who'd been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and had gone on to live and do amazing stuff. And I couldn't find anyone.
Oh, so sad.
So what I want to be is if someone is in my situation in a year's time from now and they type in stage 4 cancer survivor into Google, I want them to have something to be hopeful about. I want them to have that point in inspiration, and that's why I'm doing this cycle ride.
Oh, great. So, your next destination is Assam.
That's right. Going into India. Yeah.
And then you are going to you are telling that you are going to China.
And then China. Yes.
Final destination.
Yes, but it's still very difficult to get into China because of the pandemic, but I'm very, very hopeful that I will be able to get into
Yeah.
China and finish the journey there.
So tell me more about your journey at Bangladesh from Benapole to Gopalganj to Dhaka. I heard that you have planned to visit Sylhet.
Yes, so I will be visiting Sylhet after Dhaka.
Okay.
But I was very lucky to be cycling with Tanvir, as I said, and he was, he's a friend. He also showed me some of the sites. So I went to the 60 Dome Mosque to the south of Khulna. I went to the mausoleum of the great founder of Bangladesh, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman.
Yes.
And that was very, very special as well because Tanvir didn't just show me it, he told me all about it and the story and why Mujibur Rahman is such an important figure
He's
for
our
this
father
nation.
of the nation.
Indeed, exactly.
Yeah.
And that for me is very special to find out about the country, not from a guidebook, not from reading different stuff, but to be told it and then experience it. But I tell you what, one thing that really surprised me about Bangladesh is how beautiful it is. So cycling through the countryside, it's so green.
Yes.
It's beautiful, and you've got waterways, you've got rice paddies, you've got these narrow roads that weave through the villages, and I did not expect Bangladesh to be that beautiful, but it's an undiscovered gem.
If possible, visit Sylhet. This is very much greenery, and Bandarban, Khagrachari, Rangamati, Coxbazar, Sundarban, of course Sundarban.
So many places, so many places. I think in a few years you're going to have a lot more tourists coming to Bangladesh.
Okay. Tell me about your friends, 4 years before and 4 years now. Have you left or have you lost any friend for your cancer?
I was very lucky that I have a very amazing group of friends who supported me through my treatment. They kind of treated me normally. They
Okay.
didn't make a
Okay.
big fuss or song and dance. They gave, if I needed to go to bed early, they didn't give me a hard time. And all of those friends are still very close and very dear to me. But on this trip, I've met a lot of people who have also become friends. And I think that's very, very special when you get to meet inspirational people.
In Bangladesh, have you make any friends?
Yeah, I've made some really wonderful friends. There's this amazing cyclist called Saeed who has cycled to all 64 regions, districts of Bangladesh, and he was telling me all about that, and he's very, very big and very proactive in the cycling community. So you meet people like this and you see the amount of passion and love and the welcomingness, and that's very, very special. So yeah.
What's your plan next?
My plan next is to cycle to Sylhet to see this, another beautiful region of Bangladesh, to see the tea gardens, to experience a different side of Bangladeshi life and culture. Then I'll be cycling into Meghalaya, the mountains in India, going through Assam, and after that it'll be China.
Okay.
And when I finish this journey, I'm going to write a book and we're making a TV documentary right now.
Okay.
So hopefully in a year or two on Netflix or something, you'll
Okay.
see a documentary about this cycle ride.
Hopefully, we will feature in that
I hope so.
document.
I hope so. Yeah.
Okay, so if anyone want to follow you, how can they?
So to follow this ride, go onto Facebook or Instagram or YouTube and type in Bristol to Beijing. I'm sure it'll be in the show notes, but it's Bristol #2 Beijing.
Beijing.
Do it now. Get out your phone.
Okay.
Bristol to Beijing, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and you can follow the adventure there.
Yeah, B2B, Bristol to Beijing.
Exactly, Bristol to Beijing.
Okay.
So now I want to know what kind of challenges you have to deal while traveling to many countries, different culture, different people.
There have been a lot of challenges on this trip. Of course, the COVID pandemic has meant crossing borders has been very difficult. So I've had to work very hard to get visas and permission to enter so many countries. Like I crossed the Wagah border between Pakistan and India, and they told me I was the first tourist in 18 months to cross that border.
Okay.
So that has been very, very challenging.
18 months.
18 months. Now, there have also been challenges of the climate. So I have cycled for weeks against 60-kilometer-an-hour headwinds blowing into me. So I've been cycling at walking pace, very, very slowly. It's very demoralizing. And then when I was crossing Central Asia, I was cycling in 50-degree heat through the desert. And there was this 500-kilometer stretch where there are only 2 villages. And I was drinking like 10 liters of water every day, maybe more.
Okay.
And it was literally Uzbek lorry drivers giving me bottles of water that kept me alive. So there have been some pretty immense challenges, and then cycling through mountains, like in Kyrgyzstan. It's really tough cycling up a hill, but on the bike that I'm riding, with the bags and 2 people,
Okay.
you're looking at 200 kilos. It's heavy. And when you go heavy downhill, you go very fast, very
Okay.
quickly. And there was one time the brakes stopped working because we were going so fast. And in the end, we had to jump from the bike. So there have been some big, big challenges on this journey.
Your presence means a lot to us in this morning, and your every word, each and every word is inspiring, but we want more. We want to sing a song from you.
Okay, so there is an amazing musical called Hamilton.
Okay.
And it's about one of the founding fathers of America. So people have heard of Washington and Jefferson and Madison. But there was one guy called Alexander Hamilton who was born in the Caribbean. He came from like nothing, and he rose to be like one of the great figures of early America. And his story is very inspirational to me.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's a man who did so much with his life. And he died pretty young. He died aged 50. So for me, it's a story that I take a lot of inspiration from. And there's a line from it saying, why do you write like you're running out of time? Why do you write like every day is your last? Why do you write? Why do you write? Man who was always busy, always focused. So the song I'm going to sing you is the very first song from this musical. Hamilton.
We are very lucky.
Okay, should we go?
Yeah, sure.
How did the bastard, orphan, son of a whore and a Scotsman, dropped in the middle of a forgotten spot in the Caribbean, impoverished by providence and squalor, grew up to be a hero and a scholar? The $10 founding father without a father got a lot farther by working a lot harder, by being a lot smarter, by being a self-starter. By 14, they placed him in charge of a trading charter. And every day while slaves were being slaughtered and carted away across the waves, our man struggled and kept his guard up. Inside he was longing for something to be a part of. The brother was ready to beg, steal, borrow, or barter. And then a hurricane came and devastation reigned. Our man saw his future dripping down the drain, put a pencil to his temple, connected it to his brain, and he wrote his first refrain, a testament to his pain. And the word got around. They said, "This kid is insane, man." Took up a whole collection to send him to the mainland. Get your education, don't forget from whence you came, and the world's gonna know your name. What's your name, man? Alexander Hamilton. My name is Alexander Hamilton. There's a million things I haven't done, but just you wait, just you wait.
Oh,
That's the beginning.
so nice.
So, yeah.
That's
We are very lucky.
Yeah.
And Labonno is also a singer.
Oh, maybe we can get some like little backing tracks going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your parents will feel very good after hearing your song.
Yeah, I hope so. Either that or they're dying of embarrassment. So
No,
One of the
they
two.
won't. So I'm going to ask you a personal question.
Go
May
for
I?
yes.
So do you have steady girlfriend right now?
I do not have a girlfriend right now. I am single right now.
Okay. Okay. So you have planned that you are writing a book about your journey. So tell me more about your book. About this journey only, or your childhood, or everything?
It'll be a bit of everything.
Okay.
So it'll be about my treatment. It will be about this journey. It will be about how my mindset and attitude has changed over time. You know, what my dreams were when I was 20 years old, when I thought success looked like having a great career and lots of money. And now I see it very much being about experiences and friendships. And then it's going to be informed by my childhood as well, and those childhood experiences. So it'll be a blend of different things, but I hope it will be a page turner. I hope it will be adventurous. I hope it will be entertaining. But I also hope it's going to leave readers with something in their hearts.
So, in one word, if I want to describe yourself.
I'm sure that's for you to decide. How would you describe me in one word?
I will, but you tell us.
Oh, that's a great question. I hadn't thought of this.
I will mention Superman.
It's 2 words.
Okay.
I wouldn't describe myself like that. God, how would I describe myself? Something like determined, or
Determined, yeah.
optimistic, or fortunate.
Okay.
That's 3 words, but
Okay, we will take these 3 words. Look, we are going to die any day, and we have to die actually. So, after your demise, what things or which things you want to people remembered about you?
That's another great question. I think I would love it if people remembered me as someone who tried very hard to make a positive impact on people around them, particularly those people with cancer, who put a lot into friendships, relationships, and always strived to be the best version of myself that I could be, and always be an honest version of myself.
Great. Can't believe 1 hour have passed with the blink of an eye.
It's gone very quickly.
Thank you, Luke. You have just enlightened us, and your each and every word we will remember. Thank you for giving us this great morning.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak. It's been really, really wonderful. So
Okay.
Thank you.
Look, if you want to share something with our audience.
My experience of having cancer and losing my brother has taught me that we have to live our best life today, that we cannot wait or hang around, and that inside of each of us there is a dream that is different from everyone else's dream. We have that opportunity to make it happen, to create that dream, and to live our best life. And so that's what I say to everyone. Go out there, live your dream, live your best life.